Hey guys, welcome back to Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney Part 13. We are down to the final day in court with Montford von Karma. He tased the shit out of us, took our stuff, or took the relevant stuff, and it looks pretty bad. Looks pretty bad for Miles.
Fuck that guy.
Yeah, fuck that guy, indeed. it looks pretty bad. And Maya just straight up wish she was dead.
Don't do that, Maya.
I know, sweet girl. So we're in the final day in court. This is the last day we've got. We're on the third day.
Alright, let's do this.
Yeah, and as usual, I'm here with my mod,
Hello.
who has been commenting in the background, and we are Sugar and Spice and Nothing at All Nice, and we are ready to take Von Karma the fuck down. This guy's gotta go. Especially if he killed Gregory Edgeworth, he's gotta go.
I put an old man down.
Wow. That sounded more old Yellerish than anything else. Take him out behind the shed.
I mean,
I know Ace Attorney gets dark, but that got dark. He went from like 0 to 120. Holy shit.
You're welcome.
Oh my god. Alright. It's just like this vaguely uncomfortable joke hanging over us. And I'm like not even 2 minutes in. Jesus. Looking at the recording time.
I aim to disturb.
Oh my god. Yeah, I wasn't kidding when I said nothing at all nice. Jesus. Just follow it up with an old Yeller joke.
You're welcome.
Shit. Okay, anyway. 9 minutes before court.
This is it. Judgment Day. Today, things are going to get settled at last. A lot of things. Ah! What's the big idea?
Sorry, Nick. I only touched your shoulder. I guess the shock hasn't worn off from my run-in with the stun gun yesterday. Anyhow, today's the last day of the trial. Good luck, Nick.
Yeah, thanks, Maya. How are you feeling? Besides static.
I hurt a lot.
Yeah.
Did you go get it checked out?
Hey, Edgeworth.
Oh, Nick.
Edgeworth is looking glum as always. I hope Von Karma doesn't push him too hard.
Whoa! What are you doing? Sorry, I'm sorry. I just thought I'd cheer you up with a pat on the back.
Maya? Maybe you should go outside and discharge?
Right. Good idea. I'll just wander over to where Mr. Von Karma is and give him a pat on the back.
That's brilliant! Maya! That's brilliant!
Thank you.
Try not to electrocute anyone else on your way out. Just him.
Whoa, pal! What's gotten into that girl?
Detective Gumshoe.
Morning, Mr. Edgeworth. Good morning.
How did it go, Detective?
Have no fear. As promised, I've captured our runaway caretaker. Just brought him in. Took all night, pal.
Thanks, Detective Gumshoe. You must be tired.
Actually, after that shock I got on the way in, I feel pretty good.
Yogi says he'd forgotten his own name. But that has to be a lie.
Could use a coffee or something, though.
Don't they usually have coffee out there?
You think I can afford it, pal?
Oh, right. Why would he want revenge on Edgeworth if he couldn't remember his past? He does remember, and I'm going to prove it.
I like that Gumshoe's just standing here breathing heavily.
He's getting over the shock, man.
Staring at us very intently, not blinking. Court is now in session for the trial of Miles Edgeworth.
The defense is ready, Your Honor.
The prosecution is ready.
Right. Very well. We have reached the final day of our proceedings in this trial. I ask that the prosecution submit decisive evidence.
Understood.
Come on, don't be awed into silence every time every little thing he says.
Very well, Mr. Von Karma, your opening statement.
Right. Thanks to Detective Gumshoe's efforts, the boat rental shop caretaker has been arrested. In yesterday's trial, the defense asserted that the caretaker was the murderer. However, the caretaker has yet to confirm this. I would like to ask the defense to cross-examine him as much as necessary.
Very well. Please bring the witness into the courtroom. It's a bit odd for Mr. Von Karma.
Ladies and gentlemen of the court, I believe you all remember our witness. He lives in the boat rental shop on the lake from which he witnessed the incident. In addition, he has currently lost memory of his name and identity.
Witness, why did you run away yesterday?
The witness was not running away, as he will now testify.
I see. Very well, please begin your testimony.
I'm really sorry about just leaving yesterday like I did. But I wasn't running away or nothing. I went to buy some food for Polly, see? I figured I got nothing to do with this incident anyway. Anyhow. I mean, I need one of those motive things, right? I don't got one. So, my testimony yesterday stands as is.
Very well. I just realized we actually did not get to see... Okay, we still have the basic facts on DL6. He just took the letter. From us.
Well, yeah, because that was the smoking gun.
Yeah. Well, he destroyed everything else, because Nick just has the summary.
Mm-hmm.
So... He probably figured a summary couldn't hurt. Let's begin the cross-examination, shall we?
He has to know his name. Yanni Yogi. You're Yanni Yogi and I'm going to prove it. I'd call what you did running away and not just leaving. You heard Larry's testimony and you realized you were in danger.
Now, Mr. Wright, there's no need to rush to conclusions. As I said, the witness was not running away. Listen to the testimony.
He sure seems relaxed. I don't like it. In fact, they both do. Von Karma and Yanni Yogi. Then why did you leave?
He's just about to say why. Is it so hard for you to just quietly listen when someone is talking?
If it pisses you off, then yes. If I sat quietly, Edgeworth also would have be guilty in 3 minutes. Food? Well, Holly's a bit of a gourmand, you see. She only eats these high-end bird pellets from France. They only have them in the one big pet shop downtown. But you weren't arrested until this morning. Why didn't you go back to the caretaker's shack? Well, kinda got lost, you see.
The witness has trouble remembering things sometimes. When the police apprehended him, he was on his way back to the shack.
Yeah, right. Nice try, Von Karma. No one's going to believe that.
I see. So he was lost.
Please, Your Honor, come to your senses. You've lost much of your memory, is that correct? Yep. Seems like it. Then how could you know that you didn't have anything to do with this incident? Or maybe you're lying about not having your memory, You know exactly who you are.
The witness has testified quite clearly that he has no memory of who he is. If you claim he's lying, then show the court proof.
How am I supposed to prove that? What's going on in the old codger's head? That's impossible.
I'm glad you've come to your senses, Mr. Wright. Very well, witness. Please continue.
How can you say that you had no motive? I say you do. You had a grudge against Edgeworth and the victim, Robert Hammond. That's why you took revenge on them, right?
Please don't make me repeat myself, Mr. Wright. This witness has no memory of anything beyond several years ago. He can't hold a grudge. It's impossible.
I have to prove he's lying about his memory. Otherwise it's going to be the same thing over and over until this trial ends.
Might I say something, Mr. Wright?
Yes, Your Honor.
You've been saying the same thing now over and over. You've been calling the witness's memory of the past or lack thereof into question. But does this really have anything to do with the current case?
Of course, Your Honor. The witness has said that he has nothing to do with the case and no motive. Both of these statements are lies.
Order! Order! Mr. Wright, there is a serious problem with your claim. Or are you saying you know who this witness is?
Of course, Your Honor.
Now, this is interesting. I would like to know myself. So, who is he?
Don't play dumb, Von Karma.
Mr. Wright, please tell us this witness's name.
His name is Yanni Yogi, the former court bailiff.
Yogi? That name seems familiar. Oh! Yanni Yogi from the DL6 incident.
Figures the judge would have heard about it. It was such a famous case.
But what does this mean?
Your Honor, if this man is Mr. Yogi, then he has a clear motive.
Jumping to conclusions again, Mr. Wright. This man, this witness, is Yanni Yogi. Fascinating. However, how do you propose to prove this to the court? This is a court of law, as you may recall. You need proof. And allow me to repeat once more that the witness has lost his memory.
This is it. I have to do this now. I can't prove he's Yogi right here, right now. Then I've got nowhere else to go.
Nick, how are you going to prove it? How can you prove that he's Yanni Yogi?
It's okay. It's actually quite simple. Your Honor, please take this man's fingerprints. Then we'll compare them to the fingerprints on file for Yanni Yogi 15 years ago.
I see. That makes sense.
Hmm?
I'm so very, very sorry, Mr. Wright.
Why?
The witness has no fingerprints.
What? What? No fingerprints? You see, before I worked as a caretaker, I worked at a chemical plant.
Oh my god, he did do what the live action portrayed that he did.
Yep.
Oh, I forgot, like, I couldn't remember if they were, like, super specific on it, or if they like, gave you a hint, or if they were vague. Friendly reminder that after this is over, anyone new to Ace Attorney, go watch the live action, rent it on Amazon or on your phone, iOS or Android. It's excellent. It deals with this first game, so you won't get spoiled for the later ones, but it's fucking excellent.
I burned my fingers working with the stuff. Yep. What? Yogi, you sneak. You burned your fingerprints off to hide your past.
Well, if the witness has no fingerprints, I guess we will not be able to prove his identity.
No.
Well, what will you do, Mr. Wright? It seems that the case has been decided, no?
No! I know what happened. I know everything. I just can't prove it. But no, I can't let it end like this. I can't lose. There has to be another way.
There is no one who can testify as to who this witness is. No one!
Nick, what are we gonna do?
I didn't even consider that he might have erased his fingerprints. What do I do?
Well, Mr. Wright, perhaps you'd like to cross-examine his parrot for a little comic relief, hmm?
Yeah, very funny. You're a sore winner, Von Karma.
Oh, I don't have my shirt on. God damn it. God damn it.
Wait a second. Echo.
Yeah. For anyone who is curious, that is a real case where there actually was. It's really.
Parrot was put into witness protection.
It's really funny because people were actually. This is still a commonly asked question due to Ace Attorney. Can a parrot be a witness to a murder?
Yes, it can, because one witnessed a mob murder in the 90s and is now in witness protection.
Yeah, but like due to Ace Attorney, a lot of people are like, can you actually put a bird on the stand though? Like the fact that there are like Quora questions and like Yahoo, they were back in the day before they shut it down, they were like Yahoo Asks and it's on GameFAQs, and like I found quite a few of those. I was like searching for like an image to like put on Instagram or Twitter or something like that to like advertise the case, and I came across so many of those questions when I just searched like turnabout goodbyes. It was just like questions was like, can you cross-examine a parrot in court? And I have a t-shirt that just has Polly on it that just says, let the parrot take the stand. And I'm so upset at myself for not digging that out of my closet to wear today, because that's one of my favorite moments. What is it, Nick? No, you're not going to...
Your Honor. The fence would like to take Mr. Von Karma up on his proposal.
Take Mr. Von Karma up.
On my proposal?
Exactly, Your Honor. I would like to cross-examine the witness's pet parrot.
I'm never over this.
Let me talk to the damn parrot.
I also share this every December 28th on Facebook. I'm like, reminder, guys. Phoenix Wright examined a parrot in 2016 in a court of law, and we lived it. You're not serious. You're not serious. Paula Piroff made a great animation about this. Voiced by Mortal, I believe is the channel on YouTube. Also check that out, because that's funny as fuck. That's one of your favorite Paula Piroff animations.
Yep. Nick just has to wing it a little bit.
He just has to wing it a little bit. So good. Order! Well, what do you think, Mr. Von Karma?
Need you even ask? This is a farce! I object!
Wait a second. You're the one who suggested I cross-examine the parrot, Von Karma.
But hey, if that doesn't work, I've got a couple of birds for you. The animation is wonderful. Please go watch it.
I have a right to do as you suggested.
Well, if you're so desperate, then please be my guest. Of course, should you go through with this, and nothing comes of it, then I hope you're ready for the consequences.
Nick, this is crazy.
Well, still want to go through with your little game?
I'm doing it. Let the parrot take the stand.
And there's my t-shirt.
I will cross-examine her, Your Honor.
This is the most ridiculous thing I have ever heard.
Von Karma's rigged every person's testimony, every piece of evidence. Except for the parrot. She's my last chance.
What about Larry?
Parrot, Maya. At least I think so.
Bailiff, bring in the parrot. Oh, Polly's so cute in HD. That's quite a bird. Please tell us your name. Name! But the witness is ignoring me.
It must hurt to be ignored by a bird.
Yeah, you would know, wouldn't you, Nick? Didn't she ignore you?
Maya.
Very well, witness. Who is your owner? Please, testify for us.
Hello.
Certainly the most concise testimony we've had so far. Very well, begin your cross-examination.
Right.
What are you gonna do, Nick?
I don't know. What do we do, Maya?
This was your idea.
I know. All right, I'm ready. Witness, you can't just say hello and expect us to get anywhere. I want you to testify. Maya, you talk to her.
Right. What do I say?
Have we forgotten something? As I recall, 2 days ago.
Polly, Polly, have we forgotten something?
Ah! Don't forget DL6! Ah! If I can get Polly to say that here, that will prove that the caretaker had something to do with DL6.
Polly, have we forgotten something?
Hello? Hello?
That's not what you're supposed to say. Forgot. Something we forgot.
Hello? Hello?
Uh-oh. It's not working, Nick. She won't say it.
This is ridiculous. Why won't she say it?
Something the matter, Mr. Wright?
Wait. Don't tell me Von Karma expected this.
It's an animal. It can be
Oh my
trained.
God.
It can be trained.
He couldn't have trained the parrot, could he? Did he train her to not respond when we asked if we'd forgotten anything?
Can you imagine Von Karma taking a crash course on training a fucking parrot? Just sitting there furiously, like, flipping through books in the library, because, God, he does not use the internet. Just checking one out on parrots.
What a sight that is.
Yeah. Again, things I will treasure.
So, I think we have to go back to the first statement over and over.
Oh, okay.
Witness, you're here to speak. You must speak to me.
Nick is like holding a seance with a Ouija board. Here I was like, man, today's gonna be a serious episode, but no, not quite yet. I forgot we've got the parrot on the stand. Oh my god. Polly is so much cuter in HD, I will say that. Look at her cute little beady eyes. Burb.
Frankly, I can't believe that you're speaking to the parrot.
Well, I guess we should try to get some information out of her. Some other info? We need to show the judge that their owner's Mr. Yogi. Okay, so we can skip the dialogue now.
What's your name? Maybe I should get her to say her name?
Polly, Polly, what's your name?
Polly? Polly?
Mr. Wright, I think we've established that this parrot is named Polly. Does this have anything to do with her owner's identity?
Yes, it does.
Fascinating. You claim that the parrot's name will prove her owner's identity. Then show us this proof.
Nick, don't you think you're taking the bluffing a little too far?
Listen, we're not here to answer the question of who is the caretaker. We're here to prove that he is Yanni Yogi. All we have to do is tie the name Polly to Yogi. Your Honor, the proof that the parrot's name reveals the caretaker's identity is
The DL6 files.
Yep.
The DL6 case file.
That's quite a large file you have there. Which page is this proof on, then? Show us or stop wasting our time.
Very well, Mr. Wright, please show us the page. Where in this file is the information connected to this parent's name, the suspect data?
Yeah. It's on the suspect data page. This page has all the information about Yanni Yogi. Right after he was arrested, his fiancée committed suicide, see?
Indeed, it does say that, yes.
What was his fiancée's name?
Polly Jenkins. Oh, Polly?
Exactly, Your Honor. He wanted to remember the name of his fiancée who had committed suicide. That's why he named his parrot after her.
Okay, so people might be like, Danny, how the fuck could you have forgotten that? Given how giant this case is and how deep of a rabbit hole we're about to jump into, it's very easy that I would forget that, because this is the only mention of Polly Jenkins that you get. The game really brushes over it in the scheme of things. Would you agree, Maud?
Yeah, I mean, it's just kind of like, it's just a tie-in and that's all it is.
Yeah, whereas, like, again, the anime and the live action actually explore that way more. I see. I guess that is possible.
Bah, a mere coincidence, that's all. My granddaughter has a dog she calls Phoenix. Well, Mr. Phoenix Wright, does this make you my granddaughter's fiancé? She's only 7 years old.
What are you talking about?
Indeed. Alone, it is a little weak for evidence in a murder trial. We would need some other corroborating evidence.
Where am I gonna find that? Why was I just accused of wanting to marry a 7-year-old? That's weird.
Nick, he's super crazy.
Ugh.
Like, super crazy.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Yeah.
we're getting closer. One more. If we can just get one more piece of evidence.
Right. But what?
Very well, witness. You may continue. And then there's chat saying the exact thing which we need to address next.
Witness, yeah.
It's the
I'm
exact
gonna
thing.
voice that again, but
No, it's okay. You've heard me get overzealous before.
yep. Maybe I'll get her to say the number to that safe.
Huh? The safe? Why?
Let's just try to get her to say anything, okay?
Polly, what was the number to the safe in the shack?
1228. 1228.
My, what a reckless parrot. Well, Mr. Wright? You aren't claiming that this number has something to do with the caretaker.
Actually, it does. That's why I had her say it.
Ha! Ridiculous. How can the number to a safe tell us who the caretaker is? Show us your proof. What could possibly link this number to the caretaker's true identity?
DL6.
Yeah, I was gonna say it is. Just making sure. Taking no chances with Von Fuckface here.
The DL6 case file? What is this obsession you have with that case?
Mr. Wright, where in this file is something relating to that safe number?
It's on the case summary page.
The case summary?
Specifically, the date in which the DL6 incident occurred.
The date of the incident, December 28th. Why, that's today's date. 15 years ago.
And the number on that safe is 1228.
Ah!
He used the date of the DL6 incident as the number for his safe, Your Honor.
Aji sounded a little bit like a parrot himself there. As I nearly sloshed tea on myself.
That's how important that date was to him.
I see. It certainly is an interesting coincidence. People often do set their secret numbers to dates.
Bah, this is not tangible proof. I set my ATM's card to 0001 because I'm number 1. God damn it, now I have to change it.
Maya, go steal his wallet.
God damn it, now I have to change it.
Nick, I'm afraid. Nick, he's got a stun gun. I'm afraid to get too close.
Shit, that's right.
Thank you.
Okay. Can we get Gumshoe to do it? Tackle him?
No, then he's gonna get zapped.
Oh, damn it.
That sounds like the combination on an idiot's luggage. Spaceballs. Thank you for that Spaceballs reference. I was like, that's very familiar. Yep, Spaceballs. Perf.
This has nothing to do with a date. Nothing.
That's enough. I think we've reached a conclusion here.
This is a mere coincidence. That's all.
True, that is a possibility. However, two coincidences at the same time seems more like a pattern to me.
What are you saying?
Summon the caretaker of the boat shop. Immediately. Witness, tell us your name.
Wait! This witness, he doesn't remember.
No, it's okay. I've accomplished what I wanted to. I'm done.
Nick, he looks totally different.
This is the real Yogi, I think. Finally. He's been acting feeble to hide his true identity. Acting for 15 years.
Well, let me ask you again. Please state your name for the court.
My name is Yanni Yogi. 15 years ago, I served as the bailiff in this very court.
Order, order! Yanni Yogi. So, was it you who killed Robert Hammond? And tried to frame Miles Edgeworth for his death?
Yes, it was me. I did it. They put me on the witness stand 15 years ago. Robert Hammond, he said I was mentally unsound. He told me it would get me off innocent, get me off the hook. So, I pretended to have brain damage. I was innocent, really, but he didn't believe me. We won the trial, but I lost everything. I lost my job, my fiancé, my social standing. Then, this year, 15 years later, a package arrived. It was a letter and a pistol. The plan was written out in careful detail. It was a plan for me to take my revenge on the people who ruined my life. I didn't care who sent it. I thought it was my chance after 15 years. This was it. Finally, a chance to get my revenge on Robert Hammond and Miles Edgeworth. I have no regrets.
He was literally just a kid.
Man, he's fucked up.
No kidding. Wait a moment. Revenge against Miles Edgeworth? What do you mean?
I'm not at liberty to speak on that matter. Why don't you ask Mr. Edgeworth yourself? Anyway, I admit it. I was the one who killed Robert Hammond.
Von Karma, where is Mr. Yogi?
Under arrest, Your Honor. I saw no room for error in his confession.
Then the defendant, Miles Edgeworth, is...
innocent. In this case, at least.
Very well. Will the defendant please take the stand? There are a few mysteries left unsolved. Still, you are cleared of suspicion for this particular case. So I would like to pass judgment on the murder of Mr. Robert Hammond. Any objections?
I don't believe it. Why isn't Von Karma saying anything?
Very well. This court finds the defendant, Mr. Miles Edgeworth. That is all. This court is adjourned.
Miles, what are you doing?
Did someone just say objection? Yeah, Von Karma didn't say shit because he knew Miles was going to object.
Edgeworth, what are you doing? It wasn't Von Karma.
Yeah, chat, that momentary glimpse of Montford's smirk, yup.
Wait, that means... Edgeworth... No. Edgeworth!
Your Honor, I object to your judgment. What do you mean? I am not innocent at all. As we have heard, Yanni Yogi killed Ram of Heaven in revenge. But revenge for what? Nick! Edgeworth is trying to confess. He's going to say he's guilty. He's gonna tell him he was the murderer in the DL6 incident. He's gonna tell him he killed his own dad.
Oh, why do I raise a fucking objection? The judgment has already been passed. I object to Edgeworth's outburst.
Didn't something like this happen yesterday, too? I believe a certain witness raised an objection after a guilty verdict was passed.
That would be Larry. Damn it, Larry.
We must hear this new statement. We must hear Miles Edgeworth.
He's right. We have a duty to hear Mr. Edgeworth out. For 15 years, I have had a reoccurring dream. A nightmare. It's only a nightmare. That's what I told myself. But now I know it wasn't a dream. Yanni Yogi wasn't the killer. You mean in the incident where your father died? From the distance of the shot, it wasn't suicide either. Everything was as clear as day. The murderer, the criminal in the DL6 incident, it was me. Your Honor, I confess my guilt. I am guilty for DL6, the statute of limitations of which ends today. The culprit is me. Order! Order! This is certainly unexpected. The defendant, declared innocent, is confessing to a different crime. A crime for which the statute of limitations runs out on today. I'm not really sure how I should deal with this.
Bah! It's obvious. We hold a trial right here, right now. We try this man for his crime of 15 years ago.
I think I would like to take a 5-minute recess. During this time, I will consider the appropriate course of action to take. Court is adjourned. I'm sorry, Wright. I've just wasted all your effort.
Mr. Edgeworth, I just don't believe it, sir. I mean, you killed your dad?
I didn't want to believe it myself, Detective. But it's the truth. I deserve to be punished. Murder is murder, no matter what the circumstances.
This is crazy! Just crazy!
Huh? Nick, what are you doing?
Because meanwhile, Nick's just been sitting on the couch reading.
Yep.
Huh? Oh. I was just reading through the court records once more. I'm getting my case ready.
Your case? For what? Japanifornia would be like, what is manslaughter? Is that a kind of sauce? Is that a kind of sauce? Oh, man. To be fair, if you started adding in charges like, you know, 1st degree, 2nd degree, manslaughter, it would make the game a lot trickier.
Yeah, voluntary and involuntary manslaughter.
Yeah, like, it would make the game so much trickier. So I can see why they're just like, murder. And that's why Grossberg had the thing of, like, accidental murder is still murder when that's just so incorrect. as proven with Dee herself. Like, I don't think she actually got the death penalty. Because she was acting in self-defense. And that comes up in a later case, too, that if your client was acting in self-defense, that comes up in a later case, in 2 or 3. I don't remember which one. But it's like, hey, if your client was acting in self-defense, they're not guilty, so have them plead self-defense. That's like a big point.
Mm.
Do you remember which game that's in? I think it's JFA.
I want to say yeah.
Given who the prosecutor is and how they like to...
Yes, it is JFA.
Yeah,
Yep.
how they like to talk about the legal system quite a bit, which is very interesting. Oh no, I agree, Chad. It is hilarious. I especially love what is manslaughter. Is that a kind of sauce? It's very spicy. I don't recommend it. Your case for what?
Huh? Isn't it obvious? I've got to prove that Edgeworth was innocent.
What are you talking about, pal? He just admitted to it. He confessed that he did it in court.
I'm sorry, Edgeworth. But I don't believe your nightmare.
What?
It's just a dream. It's not real. The truth is right here in this court record. In any case, tighten your belts. The real fight's is just beginning. I'll prove you're innocent. Trust me.
Right.
All right, let's get back in there.
Nick, are you sure about this?
Never been more sure in my life, Maya.
Tunnel vision working for us instead of against us for once. Yeah, no kidding.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like Miles says, he's simple to a fault. That's really what it is. That's like Nick's most endearing trait. Now then, I would like to resume our trial.
Judge, Miles Edgeworth has admitted his own guilt. He has confessed his crime. Let us begin by hearing his testimony. Then, though pointless, let the defense do their cross-examining. The statute of limitations on the DL6 incident runs out today. Though it's unconventional for me, I'd like to run this one by the book.
Nick, did he just admit to not...
Oh yeah.
What? That's on the court record.
Oh, don't worry. We're gonna make him eat those words.
The stenographer's typing that right now.
Yep.
Who does this creep think he is?
I'm so glad it's on record.
I see. Does the defense have any objections?
No, Your Honor. Von Karma, you knew this was going to happen from the very beginning, didn't you?
Oh my god, yes he did. That fucking smirk as soon as Miles admits it. Very well. Will Miles Edgeworth take the stand?
Will the witness state his name and profession?
Miles Edgeworth. I am a prosecuting attorney.
Mr. Edgeworth, 15 years ago, you mistakenly killed your father, Gregory Edgeworth. Is this correct?
It is correct.
Then testify about this matter to the court.
When Edgeworth was telling me about his dream yesterday, I noticed something. One detail didn't quite fit. That will be the key, but only if I can get it to work.
Please, please. That day, I had gone to the courtroom to observe one of my father's trials. As we went to leave, an earthquake struck, trapping us in the elevator. My father and Mr. Yogi lost their composure and began to argue. Just then, something heavy fell at my feet. I picked it up and threw it at Mr. Yogi. I wanted them to stop fighting. A moment later, there was a single gunshot, than a scream. It was a terrible scream. I remember it to this day. That's all. And until now, you thought this memory was a dream. We were stuck in that elevator for 5 hours. The oxygen in the elevator ran out, and I lost my memory of events.
Bah! This is the same claim Mr. Yogi has made.
Very well. Except he was a kid. Karma's such a jerk.
I know. Also, I loved the detail of it's basically a vacuum sealed elevator.
Yeah, I know. Like there wouldn't
holy crap.
You would run risk of oxygen deprivation after a while if people start freaking the fuck out. But like people have been trapped in elevators for longer and come out okay.
Oh yeah, more people. More
Yeah.
people have been crammed in an elevator for longer. Have been. Oh, it's just like this vacuum sealed elevator in the courthouse.
I mean, to be fair, we don't know if any debris or anything like kind of trapped their oxygen supply. Like we don't know how damaged the courthouse was.
Yeah, well, we do know it. Like half of it fell.
I mean, they could have been in a part where a lot of debris like was kind of blocking the air.
Yeah.
So that's actually, or it could have been pretty dusty or something like that. That could have been leaking into the elevator as well, because you start to, again, that's the quality of the oxygen. You tell me, you're the true crime expert. Wouldn't that start to kind of impair like your brain functions if you're breathing in really shitty air constantly for 5 hours?
Yeah, but it would more choke you than it would be deprivation. Because you're breathing in debris. Then it's not so much that you're not getting the oxygen; it's that you're choking on the oxygen that you have.
Fair enough. I don't know. I never want to be stuck in one of those situations. More like smoke inhalation then? Asks
Yeah,
chat.
it would be a lot more similar to that.
Okay. But yeah, we don't know how much air passageways the earthquake actually blocked. Especially if it took 5 hours to get to them in the elevator, when that should be priority 1, especially in a courthouse. We don't know like the routes and stuff that have been cleared. They were probably checking other elevators, blah blah blah. So, I mean, for all we know, there was shit pressing on top of the elevator, which is a terrifying thought. I just never want to be in a situation like that ever. Please thank. Please thank. Cosplayers do, also just a note, cosplayers do very creative things with miles and elevators in very heartbreaking ways. You've seen it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Chat's like, oh no.
Yes, Your Honor.
But yeah, I mean, I guess not, but yeah, suspension of disbelief, as is with Ace Attorney.
Oh yeah. What was the trial your father was involved in on that day?
I don't remember things very clearly. Only 2 things. I know my father lost, and Mr. Von Karma was the prosecuting attorney. Mr. Von Karma, you were handling that case?
It was 15 years ago. I don't remember the details.
That was when Edgeworth pointed out the problem in Von Karma's evidence.
Yeah, bullshit, you don't remember the details.
So there were 3 people, including yourself, trapped in that elevator.
Poor Nick, who has to be so clinical about this. To his best friend.
Yep.
And this trauma. Yes, myself, my father, and Yanni Yogi. We were fine at first, but then as time passed and no one came to help...
What did you do then?
I was a 9-year-old boy at the time. What could I do? I was scared, trembling in the corner. But then...
What was it?
a pistol. I assume it was the bailiff, Yanni Yogi's. The safety must have come off when it fell from his holster.
And you picked it up. What happened next?
Did you know it was a pistol when you threw it?
I think I knew. I knew it was dangerous. But the air was getting so thick, I panicked.
So, you're saying you threw the pistol at Mr. Yogi?
I was in a daze.
The gun fired once.
Yes. I think after I threw it, I lost consciousness. Since then, they've echoed in my head every day. That gunshot and that horrible scream.
The scream. To this day.
Yes, I can practically hear it now. I doubt I will ever forget that scream as long as I live.
There it is. One part of his testimony clearly contradicts the evidence. But I don't know what it means. I better find out and quick.
It's the scream. Because if Gregory was shot in the heart, he couldn't scream. No?
No, it's the
Hang on. Let me...
It's the single gunshot because
Right, it was fired twice.
Yep.
I was like, it's either the gunshot or the scream. It was a single gunshot. Okay, that's what we want to present on. Okay. One
Another
bullet
weapon.
was fired twice. Okay, just wanted to make sure.
Are you sure you only heard one gunshot?
Yes, I'm sure of that. I heard the shot and then the scream. Then everything faded. I was unconscious until the rescuers came. I see.
No, Your Honor. Unfortunately, you don't. Look at the file one more time. This plainly contradicts the witness's testimony.
You do enjoy dragging out that file, don't you? I don't accept this evidence, unless you can tell us what page it's on.
What is this, a fucking school test?
Which page contradicts Miles Edgeworth's testimony?
Victim data.
Look at the victim data and the file. It says quite plainly, the murder weapon was fired twice.
Montfort von Karma be like, citation needed. He would be that professor.
Miles Edgeworth only heard one gunshot. Yet, the murder weapon was fired twice. The first shot was an accidental fire when the pistol was thrown. So, who fired the remaining shot?
Was there perhaps another shooter who fired that second bullet? Either one.
Your Honor, as I'm sure you're aware, this incident occurred 15 years ago. The evidence is dated. The pistol did fire twice. However, we do not know when that second shot was fired. It might have been fired the day before the incident.
You're a shitty keeper if you're shitty with your firearms if you just, like, let it sit there like that. Whatever.
There is no proof that the second shot had anything to do with this incident.
What?
I see, I see. You do have a point, Mr. Wright. I mean, I would think if it was Yogi's pistol and he was the bailiff, he's required to keep up daily maintenance on that.
Oh, yeah.
Therefore, there would be no need for, you know, like, therefore, he would need to keep the chamber full at all times, just in case. Yeah, one would think, says chat. Yeah, I know. We're bringing too much logic into this, State's Attorney. Stop. Stop it, Danny. Stop it. The murder weapon was fired twice, as we have heard. One of those shots was fired by the defendant, a boy at the time. Do you have any proof that the other shot fired had something to do with the case?
Yes, I do. Your Honor, I think I'll be able to show you proof.
What? Impossible.
Now, Mr. Von Karma, save your surprise for after you've seen the evidence. Very well, Mr. Wright. Show us your proof. Do you have evidence that the second firing of the pistol is related to this incident?
A picture. Your favorite picture.
Oh, God. Because of the...
One's in Gregory's chest, and the other one's in the door.
In the window. My eyes are closed before you're like, you're lingering on it. My eyes are closed.
You're lingering on.
No. My poor sweet Gregory.
Look at this photograph.
Thank you, game, for just shoving that in my face. This is a photograph of the scene of the crime. Oh, right, they fucked that up. I think
go ahead.
No, that is supposed to be Nick's line. I believe they fucked that up.
This is a photograph of the scene of the crime 15 years ago.
I can see that the victim lying there is Gregory Edgeworth. I think that is supposed to be Nick's line.
Oh, okay.
If you look in like the errors section, of the wiki for this case, they talk about how they fuck up one of Nick and Udgy's lines.
Oh, okay.
So it doesn't matter who does that reading. Either way, it works.
This proves that the murder weapon had been fired twice at the time of the incident. The photo proves it.
So let me get this straight. This photo proves 2 shots were fired. Where?
Your Honor, please get a...
The window.
As should be obvious, the contradiction is here.
I see. A bullet hole in the door.
Your Honor, Gregory Edgeworth was killed by a shot from the pistol. Yet, there's also a bullet hole in the elevator door. We also know that the murder weapon was fired twice. Thus, someone other than Edgeworth fired that second shot.
Order! Mr. Wright, what are you driving at?
It's simple, Your Honor. At the time of the incident, 2 shots were fired. One went into Gregory Edgeworth's heart. The other hit the elevator door. Remember that the defendant lost consciousness after the first shot rang out? In conclusion, we must agree that the second shot was fired by someone else.
Mr. Wright, but who could that someone else be?
The murderer, of course.
I knew I should have stepped in before your wild fantasies got out of hand. Mr. Wright, look once more at the DL6 incident case file. Look closely. Try the case summary page.
Case summary. That's on page 1.
Look what is written there. Not a single clue was found on the scene. If the pistol had indeed been fired 2 times, then the other bullet would have been discovered on the scene.
He does have a point.
That second bullet has never been found. Why? Because the second bullet does not exist. The bullet that claimed Gregory Edgeworth's life was the one fired by his own son. That is the truth of this matter, the whole truth. It was undoubtedly something else that made that bullet hole in the door.
Order! I will have order! Mr. Wright has proven one thing to us quite clearly, that the murder weapon was fired twice at the time of the incident. However, as Mr. Von Karma says, the second bullet fired was not found. It is highly unlikely that the police merely overlooked the second bullet. So all we have is the single bullet fired. I'm afraid I have to discount the defense's claim. Really getting my clucking skills to use today.
I praise the judge for his wisdom in this matter.
Ugh. How did this happen? I don't believe that the second bullet didn't exist. Was I wrong? Have I been wrong about this whole incident?
What are you doing, Nick? Why aren't you raising an objection?
I'm sorry, Maya.
What?
It looks like I was wrong.
Nick?
If the second bullet wasn't there, then all my conjectures are for nothing.
No. But you said you'd do it, Nick. You said you'd get Edward declared innocent.
I'm sorry. When I saw that photograph, I thought 2 shots had been fired. I was so certain of it. I thought I'd won. I thought there was another person. Someone else who fired the killing shot. Now, I was wrong to think it could be that simple. This case has stood unsolved for 15 years.
Nick? Well, it seems that we have finally cleared up this incident. Only 1 bullet was found at the scene of the crime. That shot was fired by Miles Edgeworth.
Precisely.
I would like to ask one thing of Miles Edgeworth before passing my verdict. Have you been paying attention to the trial so far? Yes, Your Honor. Do you have any objections? No. No, I do not. So, you killed your father, though that was not your intention. Yes, I did. Oh no. He's accepted the guilt. Very well. The statute of limitations on the murder of Gregory Edgeworth runs out today. Therefore, I must pronounce a verdict on the defendant today, right here.
Right now.
Indeed. Does anyone have any objections?
I've been here before. It's just like my first day in court. There are so many things I know I should be saying. But my mind's gone blank. I can't find the words.
Mr. Wright?
Your Honor, I object.
Mr. Wright, on what grounds do you object?
Nick?
I don't know. This case is perfect.
Oh no.
Ugh. It must exist. The second bullet. What? What did you just say?
Nothing.
Second bullet must exist. But where? Someone took it.
It seems waiting is not going to produce any answers from Mr. Wright.
Wait, Your Honor. The second bullet. It exists.
What? But we've just heard proof that it did not exist.
I realize that, Your Honor. I'm really grasping here. It just... Someone took it from the scene of the crime. That's what happened.
But who?
The murderer.
The murderer? Then tell us, just who is this murderer?
I'm still thinking about that one.
So the criminal took the second bullet. But why?
Huh?
First of all, how would they have found it? It's not easy to find a stray bullet, Mr. Wright. Was there some pressing need for the murderer to search for this bullet?
The murderer didn't need to. He didn't need it. Why would the murderer have spent time looking for that stray bullet? I haven't got a clue.
What's wrong, Mr. Wright?
Bah! The murderer had no reason to take the bullet. You don't want to admit it, but it's true.
Had to take it. Had to take it? The murderer? What does that mean? You're thinking too normal. Think crazy. Don't think why the bullet was taken. Think why the bullet had to be taken.
Mr. Wright?
Yes, Your Honor. I have no idea what I'm doing. Well, the murderer had no intentions of taking the bullet from the scene. But, the murderer had to take the bullet.
Had to, Mr. Wright? What do you mean?
Well, for instance... For instance, what? Maybe the bullet, hit the murderer?
The bullet hit the murderer?
Just saying, for instance. I mean, if it hit you, you would have to take it with you, wouldn't you? It's not like you could perform surgery right there. You know? Wait a second.
I love how Mia, like, astral projects to Nick just to be like, think batshit crazy, Phoenix!
I know.
We're not normal lawyers. We're crazy lawyers. Turn that shit around. God damn it, what have I taught you? Like, she's, like, using all of her spiritual energy to astral project to tell him not to think like a normal person. I love it. I love Mia so much. She's fantastic.
I was just talking off the top of my head, but what if that's really what happened?
Let me get this straight. So at the time of the murderer themselves was shot. And they left with the second bullet still inside of them, thus leaving only one bullet at the scene of the crime?
Yeah, I guess that's how it would work, yes.
Mia yeeting herself from the astral plane just to say, aren't you tired of being normal? Don't you just want to go ape shit? Oh, I like to imagine that Mia's like standing behind Maya. Because Maya is so in distress right now. But there's a problem with that. The other two people rescued from that elevator, Miles Edgeworth and Yanni Yogi, were both unharmed. So that would mean...
The murderer came from outside, yes. two men fighting inside the elevator. Trying to stop them, the boy picked up the pistol at his feet and throws it. The pistol discharges and the bullet goes through the elevator door and hits the murderer outside. The boy loses consciousness. Then the murderer opens the elevator doors and sees the men inside.
Mr. Wright, you are truly the most unpredictable defense attorney I've ever known. I can tell you're grasping, yet I cannot deny the possibility of what you say.
What are you saying? Deny it! Deny it! No one involved with the incident was wounded. There was no murderer.
No one was wounded at the time of the incident. He's right. I can't think of anyone.
Hey, Nick.
Huh.
I just thought of something really crazy.
Crazy?
Remember what Mr. Grossberg said yesterday?
Gregory Edgeworth dealt a blow to his perfect trial record.
Wow.
It must have been quite a shock for Von Karma. He took a vacation for several months after that, you see. Yes, an unusual event for the man. That was the first and the last vacation he's taken in his many years of prosecuting.
I like to think Grossberg's in the gallery.
Oh, yeah.
Because I like him. What if Von Karma didn't take that vacation because of shock?
But he took it because he was injured.
Which would mean...
It could only mean one thing. Maya, you're brilliant.
he was the murderer in the DL6 incident.
I could kiss you right now. I'm not going to, but oh my god.
I was gonna say, please don't.
Metaphoric kissing, not literal.
Okay, if anything on the forehead, you're a big brother.
Let's not make this weird. Yes, forehead kiss.
Okay, go kiss Mr. Edgeworth. After this, please, I beg you.
I'm trying to. He was the man who shot Gregory Edgeworth.
It was Von Karma.
Oh man.
Is something wrong, Mr. Wright? You seem dazed.
No, Your Honor.
Well, you have indicated the possibility that the murderer came from outside. Can you give us the name of your suspect?
Uh-oh. Should I come out and say it now?
What other time do we have, Nick?
Say it now!
No, I'll just wait until after Edgeworth's dead.
Your Honor. There is a suspect. One lone suspect.
Well, this is certainly interesting news. Very well, Mr. Wright. Who is your suspect?
My hands are shaking.
What?
Von Karma.
Von Karma? You mean the Von Karma, the prosecutor, the one standing right over there?
Bah!
You don't object?
I see no need. Why honor this ridiculous outburst with my objection?
Because you took a vacation for several months starting the day after the incident. Yet you pride yourself on a perfect record. Why would you take such a long vacation without any reason?
So you're claiming that I took a vacation to heal my injury from the incident? Fascinating. Prove it. I would have needed surgery, no? Where did I go under the knife, Mr. Wright? Bring the doctor that operated on me. Have him testify.
Nick, let's find out who his doctor is. It's no use.
Edgeworth?
I know Von Karma, and perhaps too well. He's perfect. He wouldn't leave clues. he probably didn't undergo surgery. That would leave a doctor as a witness.
Nobody's that perfect.
So what, Nick? Did Von Karma pull the bullet out by himself? Ugh. That's insane.
No, he couldn't have. You can't just pull a bullet out out of yourself. Wait. What does that mean?
It means we've got a Chekhov's gun.
That bullet has to be somewhere. But where?
Well, Mr. Wright, can you produce evidence to prove that I was shot?
No evidence.
You got all, wow. You were like, hey, little mama, can I whisper in your ear?
All right, Von Karma. I'll prove it. And I'll even use evidence. I know how you like it so much.
What?
The evidence that proves Von Karma was shot is the metal detector.
Chekhov's gun!
Von Karma is perfect. He wouldn't risk surgery, leaving an evidence trail. So then, I ask, where is the bullet now? I think it's unlikely that Von Karma performed surgery on himself.
You don't mean?
I do. There is a possibility that the bullet is still inside of Von Karma.
Is that even possible? For all these years?
Well, there's only one way to find out. We could use this metal detector. Well, Von Karma, I'm going to run this over you and see what we find.
I read that as, I'm gonna run you over with this.
Same, that's why it took me a second.
I'm gonna run you over with this metal detector, just smacks him in the head. Also valid, to be fair, says chat. Ooh, that a new sprite.
Yo, yeah.
I refuse.
You refuse? But refusing this means you acknowledge the bullet is still inside you? Order, order, order!
Your Honor, the defense requests that we be allowed to use the metal detector.
Judge, I call for a suspension of this trial. This is an invasion of privacy.
The statute of limitations runs out on this case today. It was you who said it had to end right here, right now.
Enough! I permit the use of the metal detector. Mr. Von Karma, you will submit yourself to testing. Bailiffs, keep an eye on him. Nick, what does this mean?
I don't know. But we're going to have to give it a shot.
Ow, my ears. I forgot how piercing that is. In your head.
It reacted. Something's inside his right shoulder. The bullet. Mr. Von Karma.
You. It was you. I was afraid this would happen. And so I remained silent. Indeed, there is a bullet in my shoulder. However, it has nothing to do with this incident.
What?
I was shot in the shoulder long before the DL6 incident. I claim that the bullet in my shoulder has no relation to DL6.
You know what? Prove it. Since you like to tell me that.
But Mr. Von Karma, can you prove that?
Prove? I have no obligation to prove anything. It is Mr. Wright who must prove something here, not I.
Mr. Wright? Well, can you prove it? Can you prove that the bullet in blah, blah, blah. Can you prove that the bullet in Von Karma's shoulder was from DL6?
Of course he can't. You don't have any of the DL6 evidence.
That's because you took it out of the records room yesterday.
With no proof, you cannot convict me of any crime. So sorry, Mr. Wright.
No. I'm the one who's sorry, Mr. Von Karma.
What?
You were close. 1 day away from freedom. But you see, I have proof.
What?
Who would have thought that you would dig your own grave trying to convict Edgeworth? I can link that bullet in your shoulder to the DL6 incident. And here's my final proof.
Maya Fey, MVP.
Yeah!
That's a bullet?
Where did you get that?
This is the bullet used in the DL6 incident. It was taken from the heart of the victim, Mr. Gregory Edgeworth. The bullet is preserved quite nicely, with all the ballistic markings intact.
Ballistic markings?
As you may recall the term. It came up in the first trial 2 days ago.
Ballistic markings are the fingerprints of a weapon. All bullets fired from a gun are marked with that weapon's unique pattern. By examining the markings, you can tell which weapon fired the bullet. It's quite accurate.
We have 2 bullets in our possession. 1 bullet removed from Gregory Edgeworth's heart. The other, Mr. Von Karma, is the bullet buried in your shoulder. We could analyze both bullets. Then, if the markings matched, we would know that both bullets were fired from the same gun. The very same pistol. In other words, the murder weapon that killed Gregory Edgeworth. Mr. Von Karma, you will let us remove the bullet from your shoulder.
Incoming volume warning, by the way. For, like, everyone.
Then we'll compare the ballistic markings to those on this bullet. And solve this case once and for all. Well, Mr. Von Karma.
That scream. I've heard that scream before. Wait. I know.
Help! I can't breathe!
Quiet. I said quiet. You're not making this any easier.
Stop breathing my air! I'll stop you! Stop breathing my air!
Get away! Get away from my father! It's that scream I heard in the elevator. 15 years ago. Von Karma, it was you who screamed.
Mr. Von Karma?
Edgeworth! Edgeworth! Only you would dare defy me. So, it was you. You and your father are my curse. Your father shamed me with a penalty on my record. And you left a scar in my shoulder that would never fade. I'll bury you with my bare hands. Death! Death!
I'm very lightheaded right now.
Damn.
Was that good?
Yeah.
Okay. I was like, I'm going all out, man. I have scared Chad's cat. All right. Oh my god. Oh. Hang on. Oh god. Shit. I don't have a voice for the chief prosecutor. Oh no. Oh no. Oh no.
Just go ahead, just read it.
Oh no. I don't have a voice for that chief prosecutor. Oh no. Oh shit. Oh my god. Oh god. Okay, so this is a severe prototype, and I can't promise that it will be anything. By the time we come back around to this chief prosecutor character, I'll have a voice ready, but I completely forgot that this was gonna happen. Oh god.
Chief Prosecutor, I am sorry.
Interestingly enough, they do have like the da-da-da-da sound like a female, but it is actually a male.
Von Karma, it's not like you to make this kind of error. I never would have thought that Edgeworth would be the one to catch you, you know? I was careless. I'm sorry, but you'll have to be penalized. I've covered for you in the past, but not this time. Edgeworth!
I'm actually pretty okay with that voice.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
Yeah, I like that.
It was a shock like none I had ever known. Me, penalized? It took hours for me to regain my composure. Suddenly, I found myself in the darkness. I was in the court records room. I must have wandered in there without thinking where I was going. The room was pitch black. The lights must have gone out. I went out into the hall and felt my way to the elevator. I pressed the button, but nothing happened. Then, there was a noise. I was in pain, a horrible burning pain in my shoulder. Just then, the lights came back on. The elevator door opened before my eyes. I saw 3 people inside, all lying unconscious from oxygen deprivation. Much to my surprise, a pistol lay at my feet. I knew then it was destiny. In his last moments, Gregory Edgeworth was still unconscious. He died never knowing who had shot him. Later, he spoke through a medium, blaming Mr. Yogi. He was fooled. It was the perfect crime.
Is no one going to talk about how he was smashing his head against the bench and screaming for death and...
We don't want to open that can of worms.
Nick, I'm really scared right now.
That's why we don't want to open that can of worms.
Okay.
Who would have thought another man would have come to open that elevator door? Judge!
What? Oh my god.
What are you doing? Do your job. Bring it into this miserable charade. Now, end it!
Very well. Oh my goodness. It appears that we have come a very long way to the end of this maze. 15 years later. Mr. Miles Edgeworth? Yes, Your Honor. You are innocent. You are innocent. As you said, it was all a nightmare. Yes, Your Honor. This court finds the defendant, Mr. Miles Edgeworth, not guilty.
Oh, thank God. I
That
can
is
retire
all.
now.
Nick! That is all. This court is adjourned. I love how Von Karma freaks out, smashes his head, probably to the point of bleeding, against that bench.
Then just starts laughing.
Yeah, it's screaming for death, and then, and then he composes himself, like, oh, just get it over with. I'm like, no. That is not a man who has accepted his fate gracefully.
No.
That is a man who is nuttier than a fruitcake. Whew. I'm still very lightheaded. Whew. Nick, we did it! Did you see his face? Von Karma looked even paler than usual. I'm not mentioning the scary stuff. He's pretending to be all cool, but inside you crushed him, Nick. Crushed! I gotta say, I'm impressed.
It was pretty close, though. I was sure we had it.
I know, I was on the verge of tears the whole time myself. But now it's all just a good memory.
So it's finally over, Edgeworth.
Right.
Yeah?
I'm not sure how to say this.
Yeah?
I know! Try... I love you forever?
What?
Thank you. Try thank you. I see. Thank you. Right.
You're welcome.
I think you could have done better than that. Sorry, I'm not good at this sort of thing. You got a lot to learn, Edgeworth.
She's got you there.
Amazing, pal! You pulled through just like I thought you would! I'll never forget this. I owe you one, pal. And tonight, let's party. Dinner's on me. Yeah, my salary went down a bit this month, but who cares? See, Mr. Edgeworth, you should take a lesson from Detective Gumshoe. That's how you say thank you. I see. Whoop! I feel foolish. Nobody look at me. Nobody, don't look at me. Don't look at me.
Oh, but it was...
Don't!
I liked it.
Don't worry. Take it a little at a time. You'll get used to it.
No, it was perfect. It's been 15 years since I've seen Edgeworth this unguarded.
Hey, y'all. Lotta. Y'all were great in there.
Thank you.
Yo, Edgeworth. Congrats. Thank y'all very much. I knew you were innocent from the start, of course. Just look at you. You wouldn't stick your hand in the cookie jar even if no one was there. You were the witness on the first day of the trial, weren't you? Yeah, well, let bygones be bygones, eh? Oh, that's you.
Speaking of which, what are you gonna do now, Lotta?
Who, me? Oh, I went back to college. Gave up trying to be an investigative photographer pretty quick.
Really? That's too bad.
Huh?
Hmm?
Isn't that the hot dog guy from the park?
Huh? Oh, Larry.
It's over, Nick!
Oh, God.
My life is over!
Why the sad face, Larry? What happened now?
Oh, Nick, I'm not long for this world.
You don't look sick.
It's Kianse. She's going to live in Paris. Paris, Nick!
Larry, I'm going to kill you.
She's leaving me behind!
Should have seen that coming.
Yo, Edgy, there you are! Yes, here I am. After 15 years, you have not changed in the slightest. Does he do this all the time?
Yes, and I'm going to kill him.
Right, don't make me prosecute you.
He's going to have an accident.
Right, that is a declaration of intent to murder. If he ends up dead, you are now my prime suspect.
It's Larry. We all know he's going to live no matter what happens.
Congrats, Edgy! Here, a little gift from me in celebration. A celebration? That's unusual for you. Harry Butts, you came along tonight. You come along tonight too. My treat, pal. Thanks. Looking forward to it. Yo, Nick. That's the suit that questioned me. When he says treat, that's not police talk for prison food, right? Right?
I think you'll be fine, Larry.
Right.
Yeah? What's up?
That envelope that Larry gave me, it's got money in it.
Well, yeah, that's not strange. People give money away to celebrate People give money away to celebrate something. Sometimes.
It's $38, right?
Huh? What a weird amount. I mean, it's not a little, but it's not a lot either.
Oh my god, Nick. You thick-headed boy.
Wait a minute. 38 exactly?
Nick! Wasn't that exactly the amount of lunch money that was stolen from Mr. Edgeworth in school?
38? No. No! Larry! It was you!
What are you so surprised about, right?
Ah!
Larry was absent that day from school, right? But that doesn't automatically rule him out as a suspect.
What?
Think back to that day 15 years ago. Larry took the day off, but he was bored, so he came into school anyway. Then he saw the money lying there, and the rest is history. I never was good at history.
I'm gonna strangle you. Edgeworth, you didn't know, did you?
I suspected. I just couldn't picture Larry protecting you like he did that day. Everyone else was saying you did it. The whole class was against you, remember?
Yeah, too well.
Right, you may not know this, but we used to have a saying back in school. When something smells, it's usually the butts.
It's usually the butts.
Yes.
I know.
Really, Wright. I'm surprised you didn't figure it out. Well, this sure is an unexpected turn of events, huh?
Edgeworth? You should have told me!
Now, Nick. It was 15 years ago. Don't you think the statute of limitations has run out, Mr. Edgeworth? I'd say so, yes. And there you have it! Did you growl?
Yes, I did.
Oh, I didn't hear it.
Where does that leave me? I became a defense attorney because of what you two did.
Well, you have always been something of an insufferable emotionalist.
Hey,
Yeah, and you get worked up too easily, too.
I don't want to hear anything. Death sentence to both of you. Man, if I had known, I would have become a prosecutor.
The same goes for me, only the other way around. For the longest time, I thought I might have killed my own father. I thought I might be a criminal. I became a prosecutor in part to punish myself. If I had known the truth, I might have become a defense attorney after all.
Edgeworth.
Want to switch, right? Hey, y'all! Line up, I'll take a photo. Hey, photo time, let's go! And after that, dinner on me! Look at Miles being all playful.
I know. Detective Gumshoe took us out on the town that night. We celebrated Edgeworth's newfound freedom. Even though Edgeworth himself was still in detention.
Oh,
I got leftovers for him.
aw.
Oh, I went a little overboard yesterday. My head hurts.
Oh, Nick, you drank too much.
Ow. Well, it's still only 5. Maybe I should go back to sleep. Hmm? What's this? A letter.
Good morning, Nick. You were really impressive yesterday. Seeing you, it made me think about what I'm doing here. I'm a spirit medium, in training, of course. I wanted to help Mr. Edgeworth, too. Fuck your sad turn about sisters. This is one of my favorite tracks. It's so beautiful. I wanted to help you, but I couldn't. I was useless. So I've decided to go back to my training. I'll become a full-fledged spirit medium, for starters. I couldn't say it to your face, so I left this letter. Goodbye, Nick.
Goodbye? What time is it? Ugh! The first train leaves for the mountains. The first train for the mountains has already left. To the station.
As he runs.
Tripping over his own feet, very likely.
This boy doesn't have a car. Or a license.
I guess I'm too late.
Hey! Nick!
Maya! So, you're leaving?
Yeah. It's hard being a spirit medium who can't talk to spirits. And I think you'll do fine without me, Nick. Be good, okay?
Wait!
What?
I never could have saved Edgeworth without your help.
Huh?
On the last day of the trial, I heard her. I heard Mia's voice.
You heard my sister?
Yes. Only her voice, but still. It was at the very end when I thought I'd lost everything.
Well, that's my sister for you. Detective Gumshoe helped, and Mr. Grossberg, and even Larry. I'm the only one who couldn't help. I was useless, Nick.
But you were the one who stopped Von Karma, Maya.
Huh? I didn't do anything. All I did was wander around in a daze.
Sorry, but I have evidence that you helped.
Evidence? I love how Nick still has everything with him.
He didn't get a chance to
clear out his briefcase, and he just grabbed
Yep.
it without thinking. He's like,
Yep.
oh, thank God. Me being late all those mornings came in handy. A bullet?
Von Karma was convinced he had taken all the evidence pertaining to DL6. But you were the one who rescued the last piece of evidence we needed. This was the bullet that put an end to Von Karma. And you were the one who gave it to me.
Nick.
Thanks, Maya. Couldn't have done it without you.
It's really sad if you present the wrong evidence to her. Like, really
I wouldn't
sad.
know.
I actually haven't done that either. But we have the transcript up. So if you present anything else, she says, sorry, Nick, I guess I don't understand. It's okay. You don't have to try to cheer me up. But one day I'll come back and be useful.
Well, that's just depressing.
I know, it's terrible. I'm like, you can't possibly fuck this up. Like, it's so obvious and you're a horrible person. I'll be back soon.
Huh?
I'm going to complete my training and come back.
Okay. I'll be waiting.
Of course you will. You can't run that office by yourself. You're hopeless.
Hey! I don't know about that.
So, this is it.
See you soon, Maya. Keep in touch!
Oh. Thanks, Nick. That CG of her is so pretty.
I know. And so my story ends. Time to turn a new page. And say goodbye to the novice defense attorney that I once was. Now a new story begins. The same old crazy cast of characters.
Ha! Don't think you've graduated yet, amateur. Mr. Wright, perhaps you'd like to rethink that claim?
Yes, Your Honor. Uh-oh. Got a bad feeling about this.
Hey, pal. Mr. Edgeworth came down to the precinct to wish me a happy new year. Talk about a pleasant surprise. Whoop! Detective Gumshoe! Then he hung his head low and went right back outside. Kinda like he was embarrassed or something. Strange, huh?
Yeah, it is running pretty quick. I'm glad we have this up. Huh? Nick? Nah, haven't seen him lately. Who, me? I've been working at a cheese shop. That Missy's a nice lady, but she's not exactly what you'd call a cheap date. Huh? Oh, she's in Hawaii right now, yeah.
Oh, right. Yeah, I remember him. I hear he's been busy lately. You know, not to ring my own bell, but I sort of taught him everything he knows. I'm sure he's grateful.
Phoenix Wright. Ah, the defense attorney for whom I wrote that affidavit for, yes. Oh, you should know I've taken over management of the Gatewater Hotel recently. Should you be in the area, please stop by.
Oh, it's you. Phoenix Wright? Ah, yes, Mia's understudy, was he not? I wonder how he's doing. Haven't seen him as of late. Ah, the days of my youth, like the scent of fresh lemon, you see.
Phoenix Wright? He an actor? Well, I'm not buying it. You can't be a star with a name like Phoenix. Did you know that they're finally putting Hamilton movies out?
Jesus Christ. I'm pleased to announce that The Pink Princess is a hit. I owe that Mr. Wright a great deal. Oh, I'm keeping my face out of the public eye till the show's over. I wouldn't want to ruin the kids' dreams, you know.
Oh, I got a letter from Maya the other day. It sounds like she caught a cold standing under a waterfall. I wanted to visit, but she didn't have time, so I sent her some Pink Princess trading cards. She said she could buy them where she is. What kind of place is she living at anyway?
You know what, chat? I'm actually kind of getting on board with that.
Right? Who's that? You wanna talk? Let's talk Pink Princess, alright? But, you know, I snuck into the studio the other day, and I saw her. The one inside the Pink Princess suit. What a dog. I was in kind of shock for a boy of my tender age.
Cody. Bless his sweet little heart. Yeah, I remember, right? That lawyer guy. Huh, me? I'm in training to be a paranormal photographer. You know that picture I took of everyone? Well, just behind them, there's a ghost. For real! Now that's talent. I'm gonna be famous. She actually just should have stuck with that, honestly.
Yeah.
I think it would have been better for Lotta had she just stayed with the paranormal photography route. This picture always makes me cry.
Aww.
Hi, Mia. Achievement unlocked, turnabout goodbyes. Oh, what's this? A brand new episode has been added with the fucking demon front and center. Fuck you. That fucking thing. God damn it.
Oh, we did it though.
We did. Okay, since there is actual dialogue through the credits, I couldn't usually give my thoughts like I would, even though it's technically not over. I just wanted to talk about the original Ace Attorney, like pre-DS release, like essentially just the GBA story, because
basically DLC episode.
Because like the DLC and because surprise surprise, when 5 and 6 got their releases, they of course came with DLC cases, and those are both interesting enough, but they're not very story relevant. Well, one's kind of story relevant, the 1 and 5. But 6 is just definitely, like, the 1 and 6 is definitely just like a throwback. But neither really contribute anything of importance in the long run to the overarching story of the game. Whereas this contributes greatly to the overarching story of the entire series. Rise from the Ashes does. So yeah. But, fun fact, of course, this only had 4 cases. Justice for All only has 4 cases as well. And Apollo Justice only has 4 cases. And, I mean, I'll just give my cursory judgment right now. Every even-numbered Phoenix Wright game also ironically has the name Justice in it. Justice for All, Apollo Justice, and Spirit of Justice. And all of them are kind of... They're not bad. They're by no means bad games, but they are kind of, in terms of the whole series, kind of more mediocre entries. And definitely in Apollo Justice's case, it's because it could have benefited from a 5th case. It definitely could have benefited from another case. And we'll talk more about that when we get there. But so it's not that like it's a lack of episodes or anything, but it's that the even-numbered ones are just kind of bangers. Like, the original Trials and Tribulations and Dual Destinies are all just really widely praised games. and the other ones are kind of you like it or you hate it. And I still fall under the like it spectrum for all of them. What about you, Maud?
I mean, pretty much agree on everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I mean, we've talked about this countless times.
Yeah, we talk about it like forever. Apollo Justice deserve better. I will die on this hill. We'll get there. We'll get there. Trust me. I'll talk about my revelation this year of how a fifth case actually could have actually made the game better. And it is honestly, Apollo Justice, like the game, is getting a lot more. It's getting a lot more popular now. Like for some reason, newcomers to Ace Attorney are like stopping at Apollo Justice. I don't know why. Like, but it's like you don't really see a lot of content from like artists who are newer because they got back into they're about the same age, honestly, as like I was when I got into this. Or they're a little bit older, but you know, in their teenage years, and they're going up to Apollo Justice, and they're not like doing anything with Dual Destinies or with Spirit of Justice. And if they do, they kind of gloss over the characters there. It's very weird and very interesting, and I'm wondering like what kind of makes them stop at like the Apollo Justice thing. I have a theory about what that is, but I just put it in chat, but I won't say it out loud until we get there.
Yes.
Yeah, so Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney as a game by itself with 4 episodes. Especially for like this just coming out in 2001, kind of out of nowhere, and taking a break in format from like your usual visual novel kind of thing. Where it was essentially you kind of just like reading a book on screen. Like an interactive book. Like this was way more interactive. You were actually saying that, yeah, it's a visual novel, Mod, but it reminds you more of, like, something else. Like, you were talking about, like, these games that you used to play or something?
Oh, it's just, they're mystery games. They're just mystery games.
Yeah, but you were saying, like, there were actual games that, like, they reminded you of.
Yeah, crap, what was it?
Yeah, now that I put you on the spot.
No, yeah, as soon as this is why I suck at, like, trivia stuff, is because I can never think of anything on the spot. It'll come to me.
Yeah, it comes up in our many conversations. It reminds me of old point-and-click adventure games like Siberia. I actually think that was Mod's point.
Oh. That wasn't the game I was thinking of, but yes.
But that was exactly what you were thinking. But yeah, you were definitely, yeah, that's right. You were saying it reminded you of old point and clicks. Mm-hmm. Which curiously, actually, how did they categorize this game on Steam? Visual novel. Okay, detective visual novel, story, mystery, 2D. I was curious if they, story rich 2D. I was curious if they had, if they were like, hey, this is actually a point and click. Because with the port to PC, it has been translated to a point and click. Essentially. Mm-hmm. It can be. It's still easier with the controller or with like the DS and the stylus and stuff. But anyway, Ace Attorney on its own, I can definitely see how it was like a huge bust out hit. Because like Edgeworth's, as much as I love Miles, we're gonna take this and say this is a little bit obvious and put that aside for the moment. Like his development, and put that aside for the moment. You have your main character, Phoenix, who isn't just like a... okay, I'm gonna at least... I can't turn the volume all the way down because then people won't be able to... I won't be able to hear my mod, but...
He's not like a savant or anything.
He's not a savant, and he's also not boring. He's not just like boring, you know, like... he's not just like a flat character. And that is actually almost the problem that Apollo Justice runs into, is that Apollo himself kind of is flatter. They didn't really put a lot of development into him. He got way more development in Game 5. 5 retroactively, like, gave him the development he desperately needed, which I think a 5th case would have given. So there you go. Apollo is more of an audience surrogate. Apollo is a mix he's a mix of Phoenix 2.0 and the audience surrogate. And that's what's so weird. They try to make him, in 4, they tried to make him both at the same time. They tried to make him Nick 2.0, and they tried to make him the audience surrogate. Because they definitely tried to capture some of Nick's dry humor, but he's just flat out mean. Yeah,
oh my god, he's so mean.
He's such he's an angry little boy. He's not a boy, but like he's an angry little man. And like I love Apollo, don't get me wrong. But like the what they did in Dual Destinies for his character, I was astounded. It was spectacular. That's part of the reason DD is so good, because it introduced so many new characters, but also really built upon the pre-existing characters, including ones that we've seen from this trilogy, this original trilogy, and Apollo himself.
Mm-hmm.
Him's just an angry gremlin kitten hissing at everyone. Swipe. No pets, only swipe.
Yeah.
Yeah, he pretty much is. And the funny thing is that people bitch that like, oh, they retcon Apollo's backstory 3 times. No, they don't. They just tell his story backwards. That's literally it. You are told his story backwards. Like, whenever I see people bitching that it's like, wow, when Capcom fucks you up, they give you a backstory 3 times, I'm like, guys, if you follow his story chronologically, it's very easy. It's very, very simple. Like, that's a really dumb critique. I'm sorry, that's a dumb take. Like, yeah, Capcom recognized they fucked up, so what did they do? They rectified it. I do have a little bit of an issue with him getting endless backstory from a pacing perspective, but still. I mean, they did it, what they did in 6, they did to end his trilogy. So I'm okay with it. Honestly. And I think non-linear backstory is very interesting. Like, that's why it's just like I hear that complaint and I roll my eyes and I'm like, do you guys watch Pulp Fiction? If so, do you need Pulp Fiction explained to you? Because Pulp Fiction is a fucking character study that is told chronologically all over the fucking place. Like, that's just where I come from, because I'm tired of people claiming that Capcom fucks everything up. Like, there's like what Von Karma talks about how he has a granddaughter, and so someone claims that a new character that's going to come in another game is just like a retcon of game 1, and it's like, no, this character existed alongside with like the idea that Von Karma had kids. You know, like, it's not hard to assume that, you know, like, it's just, like, it blows my mind that people are calling, like, a later character introduced a retcon. It's like, yes, every series has its retcons and every series has its fuck-ups, but, like, I think Ace Attorney honestly does a pretty good job at covering up their boo-boos. And, I mean, one of the biggest ones happens in 4, but we're gonna get to that when we get to that, because that's a huge-ass mechanic and that's a huge-ass thing. And for that mod and chat, I'm talking about the system that is proposed at the end of 4.
Ah, yes.
But that was done for a reason. And the people who spoke out against it are now complaining about it, which is hilarious. Like, guys, did you really, like, figure out what the fuck happened with it? Like, really? But anyway, Ace Attorney on its own, I can see how this was, like, a fucking banger of a story, because yeah, Nick he's not a savant, he didn't fall under the same trap that poor Apollo did, which isn't to say that, again, AA4 is a bad game. AA4 is a great game, just Apollo is not a very strong character in that game. The strength definitely lies elsewhere. Yeah, so Nick is just like a normal dude, but he's shown to have his own faults. Like we've mentioned a few times, he has tunnel vision. He has the blinders. When he gets really focused on something, he just commits. And he's very, very emotional. Like, the things that Miles and Larry were saying at the very end were not incorrect.
No, not at all.
Like Miles said, he's simplistic almost to a fault. You know,
he's super emotional.
Oh my god, Nick is so emotional. By the way, a fucking standing ovation to your Nick, especially in this last case. The emotion dripping from his voice was fantastic.
Yay!
It was incredible.
I tried.
You did
I tried my best.
I think you did a real good job. Chat agrees with me. You did a really good job. Yes, I agree. And like, so like Nick himself is both a relatable protagonist and like, and he's got that snark to him.
Oh yeah.
He's got that sass to him, you know, and he bites. Like, he has biting commentary. He says stuff that's like not appropriate. Like, he has kind of callous jokes, and it's like, but the fun of it is, you kind of have to go out of your way for some of those jokes sometimes. Like, if you refuse to defend Edgeworth, he's like, of course not. Too bad, Edgy. And you know, like, the chat sent me that clip, and I'm like, wow, that's horrible. And Miles looks really upset. And Maya's like, what is your problem? And he's like, it was a joke. Haha, funny, funny. And they're both like, that wasn't fucking funny. Redo it. You know, like, so it's like, you can go out of your way to make Nick be a troll, and he's just like a dick about it too. Like,
when
so,
Nick's trolling, holy shit.
Yeah, when Nick trolls, he trolls, and he likes to troll. So it's like, your main character wasn't just like this faceless guy, like, no pun intended, of course he has a face, but like, you know what I mean? Like, he wasn't just like a stand-in for you. Phoenix Wright is absolutely his own character and his own person. And regardless of like the optional things you can unlock, he has his own faults and he has his really good things about him. Like, what is good about him is also his fault. So, I mean, he himself is a very intriguing character and he's a relatable one. At some point or another, you relate to what Nick is going through. Or you relate to some kind of emotion he has, whether it's about a witness or a situation. Like, some people have felt abandoned by everyone in their life, just like Nick has. So, I mean, like, they see that class trial backstory and they relate to that really hard. And it's not something super traumatizing, you know? It's like, well,
I mean, it's childhood trauma, but not not as bad as it could have been.
Yes, it is childhood trauma, but not, I wouldn't say as bad, as drastic as it could have been, because there are kids who have suffered from bullying and it has changed them forever. But Nick thankfully had Miles and Larry on his side. Even though Larry was the perpetrator for it, Larry stood up for him. Mm-hmm. I mean, in the end. And I mean, you have characters like Larry who is just like this goofy, doofy, like, idiot fuck up, but like, he comes through in a clutch, you know, in a cinch. Like, he's causing your problems and he's solving them.
Oh yeah.
He causes you problems one second and then he turns around and he's exactly who you need the next. Like, there are people who genuinely don't like Larry, and I'm like, you know what, you can do you, but please to the left. Like, I respect your opinion, but I do not agree with it. Please step to the left. Like, just Larry haters to the left, man. I love him. I think he's great. He's a fantastic, great character.
He's an idiot with a heart of gold.
He is an idiot with a heart of gold. And,
my type of character.
Yeah, he really is. And nope, you got to the top of the staircase and Nick was just sitting on that throne. Mm-hmm. So, like, it's like you, with how much you get to really, and like, you get to know Maya pretty well through this too, with the like the death of her sister. That's a very big emotional thing for him and Maya to bond over, is the death of Mia. And even Mia's death isn't rendered irrelevant. Even if Maya were not a spirit medium, I would argue Mia's death would still not be irrelevant because of how much she influenced Nick.
Oh yeah.
So her character death, like, usually it's like when a character dies, it's very hard to do character death well. But Mia's is done so well because she still has a lasting impact, and it's not always because it's sorry, I got sidetracked by chat, who said Mia Fey, a woman whose death is an automatic fridging. I wouldn't say a woman, I would say just a person. Because they do it with male characters too. Because there's that whole kill your gays thing, which is appropriate in some contexts and not in others. So it's just, any character death is very difficult to write, and Mia's due to the kind of person, due to the kind of character that she is, remains a character despite the fact that she is dead because of the influence that she had on Nick and how much Nick really cared about her and how much he taught her. Do we get to see her much? Actually, no, not at all. Is she still an influence and a character in her own right? And does she still carry power and weight? Oh my god. Does she ever? What do you think about that, Mud?
We learn more about her through the games too, but I mean...
Yes, we do. I wasn't gonna spoil that.
Well... You just already said she was a presence continuing through, so
well,
I mean, it's not
true.
very much of a spoiler.
That's true. That's true.
And she just gets more awesome.
Yeah, she does. She just gets cooler and cooler as you go. Like, just the more you learn about her. We actually learn a little bit more about her in this next case, even though she does not show up, I think, in any capacity. Because Maya didn't summon
No, she does.
She does?
Nick has that voice in his head.
Oh, does he? Mia's
Yeah.
astral projecting again?
Yes.
Okay. Katie knows Rise from the Ashes way better. Also, fun fact, every case in Ace Attorney from until Daigyaku-ten, and there's a reason for that in Daigyaku-ten. But of the main games and Miles's duology, every case starts with turnabout or something turnabout. It has the word turnabout in it. This is the only one that does not. It's called Rise from the Ashes. It's the only one without turnabout in it. And that's a very interesting name choice, but it automatically sticks out in everybody's head. This is a pretty unforgettable case, honestly.
Oh, it's fantastic.
It's,
I'm also on my soapbox for this one. So.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's a lot of people's favorite cases, honestly.
Yeah.
If it's not the last case of the third game, it's usually this one that people like a lot. But like every witness and everything felt like they had their own story. Like even Yogi, like the first time you play through, like you feel something for him, whether it's like you feel sympathy or like kind of derision. I'm more on the sympathy, or I'm more on the derision than sympathy. Because I'm like, I don't know
where I lay with him.
It's no excuse. He has no excuse. He tried to. That was a child. That was literally a child, and he knew it. Like, I feel terrible for the things that happened to him, but the fact that he wants to frame someone who was a child for murder and get them killed, that's fucked up. And that's of his own will. Like, and I just think that's so fucked up. And the only Yogi I actually feel really bad for, like the one that actually makes me feel some kind of way and like really sympathetic, is the live action one, because they go more into detail about, like, they actually show us, and that's the Yogi that resonates with me the most, because it uses the very powerful thing of show don't tell. And I realize in like these games, in a medium like this, you kind of have to show, or you kind of have to tell instead of show, because it is a visual novel. But like, that was definitely a story where showing was far more powerful than telling. So showing us the consequences of what actually happened were just so much more powerful for me. And that's a Yanni Yogi that I liked a lot more. And that I actually was like, you know what? I can see where you're coming from, dude. Because we see it happen to him. But like, game-wise and anime-wise, because the anime sticks to the game pretty well, there are some changes. Like, the game makes Dee Vasquez way less sympathetic. They make her way more of a bitch. Like, there was nothing about, like, the accident with Jack Hammer.
Yeah, you mean in the anime?
Yeah, the anime made her way more of a bitch. Did I say the game?
Yes.
Oh, I'm sorry. Sorry, the anime made Dee Vasquez way more of a bitch and way less sympathetic. They didn't have anything about, like, Manuel, like, being her boyfriend, you know, and it being an accident, and, you know, like, it was just like, it was just straight up. She was just torturing Jack Hammer for no, or like not torturing, but like, you know, tormenting him and fucking up his career for no other reason than that she could. And it really kind of like took the wind out of Turnabout Samurai. That is kind of a like, again, the anime is really good. It is a really good overall, you know, synopsis, but it's not a good stand-in for the games, I would say that. But I mean, a lot of people were like, oh wow, I love this anime, oh my god, and then they play the games and they're like, wow, these are even cooler, you know? So it's not bad whatsoever, but I mean, even just details like that, like the fact that Dee Vasquez had someone that she loved that was killed by accident, and instead of, you know, trying to kill Hammer, she just, you know, rode his career into the ground. You kind of feel for her. She didn't kill him, she didn't want to kill him, she just wanted to make him miserable like he made her miserable. Was it right? No, but do you feel bad for her? Yeah. I mean, shit, I even like Old Bag. Just that whole bit at the end where she's like, oh, Hammer, you went, like, she's like, you chose the wrong path. And I was like, that's really sad. Like, because it's like she had been such a fan of him. And it's like, she acknowledged that, like, a hero, like, someone that she looked up to, fucked up. The anime,
Oh, yeah.
The anime had you feeling some kind of way about Wendy Old Bag in, like, a good way.
Oh, my God.
You were like, I don't hate her, and I feel weird about this.
She exasperates me so much.
I love her. I love her to death. Like, I'm past the point of exasperation with Old Bag. I used to feel that way, but now I just hit, like, the zen of, like, yes, it's Old Bag. She's so funny. But yeah, overall, like, it's very, like, neatly contained. The story for this is very neatly contained. They don't really have any, like, kind of leftover questions and stuff like that, like, because they didn't really plan on this, like, I don't know if they made this with the intent of continuing on to make 2 and 3. They were made very quickly, but that doesn't say anything because this was made in 7
10
months.
Or what? Was it 7?
I think it was either a team of 7 and 10 months or it was a team of 10 and 7 months.
7 and 10 months sounds more accurate.
Okay, I said it in my intro video, but that was also a script, so. But yeah, either way, it was a small team making it in less than a year. So I mean, who knows, that team could have done it again and again, but who really knows? But I would say this is very nicely contained, and the other ones kind of leave things a little more open-ended for, like, new mysteries and new questions and stuff like that. But this one was like, well, this might be the only one we ever get, so here's a neat little bow. And then, of course, there is, now, taking what I have shelved and putting it back down, the development of Edgeworth. Here's this douchebag who you're not supposed to like, and I was very sad the first time you played through Ace Attorney.
And oh boy, they did their job well.
They did do their job very well, because again, if you play it correctly, unlike me, you think he's a dickbag. And because, like, I remember the first time Katie was just like, this guy is such a douche. And I was like, no!
Yeah, because I was like, why does everyone fucking love this guy so much? He's an asshole.
And I was just like, no, not Miles. Miles is so wonderful. Stop. And you're like, what is your malfunction?
Yeah.
And you got to the last case and you were like, oh.
Yeah.
QTD me once every 10 minutes. God damn it, Edgeworth. I love Miles so much. Yeah, and I mean, oh god, Miles is like this is, I think we talked, did I talk about this on stream with you or not? That this is essentially the story of Nick and Miles.
Yes, you have.
Yeah, I don't know if it was on stream or not.
Yes.
Okay, yeah. Not that it's not Maya's story too, but again, like I said, she experiences it with Nick. The first case, they're terrifyingly Miles set the bar for the character arc of almost every prosecutor after him. The first case, they're terrifyingly competent. The middle cases, they get punched up and taken down a few rungs. And in the final case, you cry ugly tears. Not quite. not quite. That's the formula for the original trilogy, yeah. 100%. Not 4.
Yes, I did say almost.
Yeah. No, yeah, I concede you did say almost. Not 4. 4, you just cry all the time. Or you think he's boring, in which case I just look at you in utter disbelief, because that prosecutor is one of my top 3. That they fall back into that formula for 5, and it works very, very well. They actually kind of rehash the Edgeworth thing in 5, where you're like, what the fuck is the deal with this guy?
Oh, yeah.
Why is he even prosecuting? Why is he even being allowed to prosecute? So it was a bit more extreme than Miles, actually. Yeah, pretty much. Forced prosecutor already knows the lesson it takes every other prosecutor their whole game to learn, and has to teach the defense attorney it. I will yell, you're not wrong. And then in 6, they were just like, we are just gonna keep everything about this prosecutor bottled right up until the last case, and then we're gonna smash that bottle. And I mean, I get why they had to do it, but it was a point in me not sympathizing with the prosecution, because I'm actually usually, for those who don't know, I like the prosecution. Usually, like, there were, like, Ace Attorney memes I remember back on DeviantArt and stuff, and it's like, are you defense or prosecution? And I'm just like, I'm firmly on the side of prosecution. I love the prosecutors, sans a couple, like Winston, you know, and Manfred. But, I, for the most part, love the prosecutors. And it's not that the defense attorneys are awful, it's just, I just love the prosecutors. Like, holy shit. Katie's actually, team police.
I am. Most of my favorite characters are police. Save for Nick.
Yeah. Nick, who is your favorite character, but then...
Oh, yeah.
But then you love Gumshoe, you love...
And Vad, and characters we're going to see in this upcoming case.
Mm-hmm.
And another cop in 5.
Oh, my heart. I actually don't know what team I'm on. I would guess your team prosecutor due to Miles. Well, yeah, I mean, Katie's favorite is Nick, but she's team police. So yeah, Polly is your favorite, but Polly is Apollo Justice's nickname. Polly's your favorite, but I mean, you can be on a different team than your favorite. Mine just happened to align. I would guess that your team prosecution, because you seem to take a shine to the prosecutors as well. Katie was compromised and died Gyakuten.
Oh my god.
She was still team police, but like
I was. I want to lick his bicep.
Yeah, I got compromised and died Gyakuten as well. Yeah. Oh, when we get to Gyakuten, I'm going to talk about how my mod fucked herself so very hard. My mod was like,
I like this character, and I like this character, and I like this character.
Yeah.
And you're just like, oh boy.
oh no, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about the final case in DGS, Miri, and who it all involves. No, yeah, that's how I'm talking about how she fucked herself. Because she was just like, I like this one, and this one, and this one. And I'm like, oh my god.
Well,
Like,
to be fair, going into DGS, I already had, like, a character that I super liked, but...
yeah, and that was one of them. And
Yes.
one of them took you completely by surprise, and that was the prosecutor.
Oh my god. Yeah.
One deadpan line that is one word, and you were just in love.
That's literally all. That is how it happened.
Yeah.
You were there. You witnessed it.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah. You started giggling from the couch madly. We were at my cabin. Oh yeah, I remember. You had your Switch with you. I remember. Petrid Farm remembers. But yeah, Ace Attorney on its own, without the 5th case, a really great Just like nice, like neat little bow experience. And Rise from the Ashes is really something else. Like, it's kind of like an OVA in and of itself. Because there is something that was supposed to happen, and that happened in the Game Boy Advance version, but but they took that out and removed it until the end of this case. There is a repercussion that is long-lasting, that does not happen until the very end of this case, because it doesn't make sense for it to happen at the end of the last case now. You guys are going to see what that is, and we'll talk about that more when that comes up. But I would say the reason Turnabout Goodbyes is, I'll just flat out say it, is pretty much my favorite case in Nick's trilogy in 1 through 3. Not that, you know, the cases are worse. If anything, if I had to put on what a best case would be, I would probably say the final case of TNT, honestly.
Very fair.
I would say that is probably the best one they've crafted. Or Rise from the Ashes. Those two are like the most high stakes, I think.
Oh yeah.
I have capital O opinions about the last case in Justice for All, and we'll get there. And sadly, I won't be able to talk about... I'll be able to talk about why I have capital O opinions, but I won't be able to properly illustrate my point until we get to DGS. And that's a ways away. But DGS is what made me realize why I felt the way I have about the last case of Game 2. But I would say the best crafted cases are Rise from the Ashes or Bridge to Turnabout in the original trilogy. I'm not talking about Apollo's trilogy. But the reason Turnabout Goodbyes is one of my favorites, if not my favorite, is because the effects from this spiral outwards. The ripples from this are felt all the way to the quote-unquote present day. Because Miles could not have been freed from that torment had it not been Nick proving that he did not kill his father. And that allows Miles to grow in ways that he just simply could not have. Literally, the duology could not exist without this case. Because Miles's growth, it was so stunted. He was so haunted by this trauma, and he was so intent on punishing himself and punishing others, and it was all like... It was just like torturing himself and tormenting himself. And I mean, he loved his father. But I mean, they ripple out to characters that we haven't even met yet. And that we won't meet until the next game and the game after that, and especially again in Miles' duology. Oh my god, the ripples are felt there. They're like fucking earthquakes in there. No pun intended. God damn it. Now I feel bad.
Be ashamed of yourself.
I feel terrible. I'm gonna go put myself in the shame fridge.
No, that's my shame fridge.
No, too bad. I'm borrowing it for now. Yeah, even chat's like, I was gonna say. But like, I would say it's actually like one of the most influential cases in Ace Attorney. Because Miles could not have developed the way he did, and if Miles didn't develop the way he did, a lot of, like, it's just a domino effect. A lot of things wouldn't have happened.
Yeah.
Because, like, while his duology doesn't directly affect the main timeline, it kind of does at the same time. Because Miles' duology is all about his own personal growth. And so his own growth wouldn't have allowed him to be who he is in Apollo's trilogy. And who he is in Apollo's trilogy makes me even more emotional and makes me cry a lot. As I just stare into the distance. I'm never over the death of Gregory Edgeworth.
He was a good man.
Ugh.
He did not deserve that.
No, he didn't. Von Karma sucks.
To quote Nick, Von Karma, I think I hate you.
It's such a good line. But yeah, like, the original Ace Attorney just did so well, and I can see how it became, like, such a hit. So the addition of Rise from the Ashes is just, like, the Lion, the Witch, and the audacity of that bitch. Yeah. Did you mean the perpetrator of the first DGS case? The 4-hour-long tutorial case? I wish I was exaggerating. I told that to Katie, and she was like, yeah, okay. And then she played it, and she's like, oh my god, this is long. I was like, I told you! But, yeah. Yeah, so, like, Rise from the Ashes is, like, the cherry on top for this game, honestly. It just makes it even better.
Oh, yeah.
It continues to make one almost relevant, in a way. I feel like without Rise from the Ashes, people would be like, oh, well, like, people kind of wouldn't cite one as their favorite. Because a lot of people do cite one as their favorite. Usually it's 1 or 3 people cite as their favorite. Excuse me. And, I feel like Rise from the Ashes is kind of like the little jab that this game needed to, like, keep it sort of, like, in the main fandom. Because usually firsts of anything are kind of, like, forgotten about. Like, if we're going to talk about the MCU really quick, people generally don't really remember the first Iron Man. They're just like, whatever. I'm sitting there of Obadiah Stane was one of the most terrifying villains, and I will die on this hill. I don't really care about Thanos, but I do care a hell of a lot about Obadiah Stane pulling the arc reactor out of Tony's chest. Like, so, but like, firsts are generally kind of forgotten in the grand scheme of a giant scope of things. That's just kind of how it is. But Rise from the Ashes definitely gave it the boost it needed to remain relevant. I think, in a lot of people's eyes. An actual Disney cartoon. Oh, okay, well, I was gonna end things there. I'll pause. I have unpaused, and so much time has passed, and you guys don't even know. Like a half hour's passed. We got super off topic, so I just kept it paused. So yeah, I didn't say everything I wanted to say because it's just all gibberish in my head, because I just do better when I can think and script things out, but it's just how I am. But, overall, yeah, I'm stoked for Rise from the Ashes. I know Katie is stoked for Rise from the Ashes.
Hell yeah.
And then we'll see how we feel at the end of it, because I'm still feeling pretty good about going through the series.
Yeah, same.
I'm not sure I want to break.
Well, it depends on where we end. We might have to force a break.
Yeah, that's why I said we'll see.
Yeah.
Because we'll just see. But Rise from the Ashes is next, and for those who are listening on stream, that is not happening until Wednesday. I know it is Sunday. As you heard us discuss last time, there were time constraints we were working around. This is just the reality that we realized we'd be getting into with Ace Attorney cases. Sometimes they're just points of no return, and this was one. We could have done it in under 2 hours, but we just didn't want to risk it. So, yeah. But that will do it for the night. And we'll see you guys on the next streaming day. So, hope you have enjoyed the end of Turnabout Goodbyes. And this has been Danny.
And Katie.
And we'll see you guys next time. Take it easy.